Alright, this is 1.2 for Pre-Cal 10. We're starting the arithmetic sequences and series. That's done, dealt with. There's not a whole lot we do in Pre-Cal 10. We're going to start now into what's called financial literacy, something that we've talked about in grade 9. We mentioned a little bit in your planning courses. We're going to get a little bit more detail now. Gross pay versus net pay. Gross pay is the amount you will receive before you pay any sort of deductions, any sort of tax or income tax or pension plans or anything. It's basically how much you made completely before they've taken anything away. So if you work 40 hours at $33, your gross pay would be $1,320. Pretty straightforward. Your net pay is the amount you receive after deductions. It's basically what you're going to take home. So if you've worked those 40 hours and you made that $1,320, it's how much you're going to walk away with and be able to pay rent with. So in a situation here, like if of that $1,320, if you earned and paid say $396 in income tax, $158 in Canadian pension plan, and $47 in insurance or employment insurance, your take home or your net pay would be $719 after we subtracted each of those from your gross pay. It's basically gross pay is the total amount you're going to make, net pay is the total amount you're going to take home after you've paid off deductions. There's a couple types of deductions we can talk about. I mentioned the big three already. Income tax is basically a percentage taken based on how much you make. So if you are making, I don't know the exact categories, but if you're making less than I think it's like 40 or 30 grand a year, you're at the lowest income tax bracket. You only pay like 15-20%, and then as you make more money, you're going to pay more income tax. Employment insurance is a percent taken off your income that's basically held back in case you have a sudden loss of work due to injury or you're laid off or something happens. So employment insurance is kind of a bit of a safeguard program, so if something happens that you're not aware of or weren't expecting, you're not completely without money. Your pension plan is kind of a personal saving plan that the government has set up and says, you know what, we're going to force you to save some money. So they take a percentage of your income and they hold it until you retire. And then after you retire, they release a portion of it every month, basically for you to live off of until you die. Pension plan is not the only thing you should be relying upon. They're often a bare minimum and they don't take a whole lot off of. So it's okay, but it's probably not enough to survive off of. A lot of people have their own either company pension plans, or some people store away money, and some people put them in RRSPs. There's all sorts of different things. But this is the bare minimum. The government has said, no, you must do this. There's a lot more examples, but those are kind of your big three: income tax, employment insurance, and pension plan. Something that was done in grade 9, but you probably should remember how to do, is to turn a percentage into a decimal place for dealing with money. This is why if you ever go to a store and you buy a new Switch for $400 and there's a certain percent discount, you know how to calculate the percentage of discount, or you know how to calculate the percent tax, because usually things are about 9 to 12% tax. So in our example here, we're going to say what's 14% of $300. So 14% could be your tax. What you want to do is first convert your percentage into a decimal. So you divide it by 100. So you have 104, basically 0.4 or 0.14. You can then take that decimal and multiply it by your money. So we'll say, well, 14% of 300 is 142. That's essentially how much tax you would pay. If you wanted to find out if you're getting, let's say, 14% off, you could kind of go in reverse and say, well, I know then that I'm going to pay 86% of the cost. You can turn 86% into your decimal, 0.86, and then multiply that by 300 to find out exactly how much you would pay. So we go 300 times 0.86, and we know that you're in fact going to cost you $258. Either way works, realizing that, well, I got to subtract $442 from my 300, or I can do the opposite and just say, well, how much am I actually paying? Both will give you the exact same answer. It's kind of whichever way your brain likes to think. That's kind of it for 1.2. It's a real short lesson, so we're going to talk about this a little bit. We'll say it's one question but two parts to this. If you work 37 hours at $23.50 an hour, I want you to tell me what your net and your gross pay is. Keep in mind your deductions. You're going to be paying a 33% income tax. And that's it for question 1 and basically question 2. If you have any questions about this, I'll be online Tuesday and Thursday for a tutorial. Good luck.